What's up, comic book fans of this new comic book day haul and review time. Plus we got a few extra books we picked up from last week, and we're gonna get right into all those books right after this.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Welcome back. All right, let's start off with those books from the previous week. We're gonna just show those off real quick. Nothing big this week, nothing spectacular. Didn't go dollar bin diving or quarter bin diving or try to pick up any keys or anything like that. But we do have Stillwater number 10. We've got Radiant Black number 7. And then we got Moon Knight number 3. I picked up 2 of those. And I guess I did pick up one spec book. Well, Moon Knight number 3 is a spec book, but we also managed to get the Moon Knight 1 in 25 for less than 20 bucks. So pick that up. That was awesome. Also, I just remembered I did pick up some dollar bin books. I'll be right back. And I'm back. All right. So I lied before I left. They're not dollar books, but they are respectively $3 and $2 books that I got that are worth more than that. So first up, we picked up another Radiant Black number 1. I believe in my last video I haven't picked up 2 more of these. So I picked up another Radiant Black number 1. Just specking on it. You never know what's gonna happen. I've heard a lot of people refer to it as like a New Age Power Rangers or something like that. So spec on it a little bit. And then next we got Nebula number 1. This was $2, and it's a little hype behind this one. It seems to have risen to a $20 book, so I managed to find this guy. It's pretty good, pretty minty condition. All right, so those were my not new comic book day pickups for this week. Now let's get into the regular pickups. First off, we've got The Last Ronin. This is issue 1. This is the 4th print. I just decided to go for the 4th and final print. You never know, the book could pop or something. And then you got the 4th print. People seem to like rarity these days, and so that could be a very rare book. Next up, we've got Undiscovered Country number 16. Unfortunately, I did not get the chance to read that one, so probably after I make the video, I'll read 15, and then I'll get into 16. All right, we got Spawn 322. I kind of like this kind of Spawn book. This is the kind of Spawn book where, you know, Spawn just picks on one villain and he does his worst. Like, he puts that villain through the ringer just to prove a point. And that was this book. Spawn really just gave it to that guy. I won't go into too much detail, but Spawn creates thousands of spikes, spiked walls, bugs, hungry dogs. It's a pretty visual, pretty graphic comic. So this is issue 322. I dug it. I really dug this issue. It's just Spawn at his most grittiest. Nothing groundbreaking in that book, but it's Spawn and vengeance. All right. Next up, we got Berserker number 5. I actually like the cover a lot. It's a cool cover, if you ask me. The story's okay. It adds some doubt as to the intentions of some of the characters, some of the players in this book. Berserker, it's a good read. I don't think it's a bad read. Right now, it's cooling off a little bit. I don't think there's that much push behind it. I don't know how many of you out there are still reading Berserker. The covers are pretty good, but they stopped being creative with the covers. Like the 1 in 25 is the 1 in 100. They just take away like a little trade off the cover. But besides those like functionality, marketing things, I think the story inside is still pretty good. It does kind of seem to have a formulaic process where each issue kind of follows the same thing, just placed in a different time setting. But this one is actually really good. It touches upon more of his personal feelings and his feelings on love. So yeah, you don't get that crazy Berserker ripping apart action in this one, but you get a little bit more introspective into the character. Also, at the end of it, he's on a mission. It looks like he's on a submarine, so the next one could be that rock'em sock'em action that you're looking for. All right, Next book up is Something is Killing the Children, number 20. I really like this, going back and giving us this origin story. It seems like this whole arc is going to be just origin story. So instead of having like one origin story comic, there's going to be like 5 or 6 of them. But besides that, the art is done beautifully, as it has been the whole series. The writing is top notch. There's not really anything I could say bad about it. You get just a little bit of a preview of House of Slaughter in the back of this book. I think the 1 in 25 is popping off for this, as every 1 in 25 for Something That's Killing the Children has been. It just seems like those variant issues are, skyrocketing because it's such a hot property. But at the end of the day, this is a good read. Every time I read it, it doesn't feel like I spent a lot of time reading it. It's easy going. It's like going to a really good movie that's like 3 hours, and you're like, that was 3 hours? I had a blast. I had the time of my life. Yeah. So, without saying too much, without giving away too many spoilers, Something That's Killed the Children, number 20, definitely worth a read as we get more of that origin story, and we get to see a little bit more about the other players. And we learn a lot about the Order of St. George and the House of Slaughter. We learn what all the masks mean, different color masks. They actually have dragon hunters. All right. Next up, we got Justice League 68. I'm so far behind on this title. I have to really try to catch up. If I can't catch up, I might just drop it because at this point, I'm like 5-6 issues behind. And that's a lot to catch up on. Just get the trade. All right. Next up, we got Mariko Tamaki's Batman Detective Comics, which is tied into Fear State. Also, you've got Dan Mora doing the cover and the interiors. He's awesome. He's awesome. And I think Jordi Belair is the colorist and the inker. Yeah, it's an awesome comic. Let me just say, little spoiler alert. Vile is coming back in here. As you can see, Mayor Nakano is in trouble. Nakano. I'm not sure if I said his name right. Correct me if I'm wrong. And and you still got the whole Fear State thing, going through, the peacemakers and all that other stuff. So it's a very good part of the book, written by Mariko Tamaki, not James Tynan. And I think she really does well with, fitting this book into that current storyline. So I enjoy it. And like I said, Vile comes back. Well, it looks like he's gonna make a comeback, but we'll see. We'll see where it goes. All right, next up we've got a second print. We got Batman Urban Legends number 6. I don't know how many of you have been reading this book, but this was my first time reading it, and as an anthology series, I thought it was really good. First story was, I thought it was amazing. Second story didn't even have Batman. The only way it tied into Batman Urban Legends was at the end of it, they're like, we're going to Gotham. And it was Wonder Woman story in there, so that was enjoyable. And then the last one was the big one that everybody's been talking about with, the sexuality of Tim Drake. Overall, I thought it was a really good book. I'm glad I picked up a copy, even if it was just the second printing. It's really well written. Art is great. The colors are amazing. Yeah, I don't know what more I can say about that book. Really good. Pick it up. All right. Next up, we got reprint. This is Moon Knight number 2. This is taken right out of the pages of the comic. Again, it's a pretty I don't want to say wacky. It's a very interesting story. I love the Moon Knight look. I'm not sure if I love the story yet. I haven't read 3 yet, so let me read 3, which I have plenty of copies of. So let me read this, and then I'll get back to you on my thoughts. So right now I'm on the fence with Moon Knight. I think the art's done well. I think the characters are done very well. Just not sure I'm in love with the actual story that's happening in here. It just feels like it's been done before. But yeah, we'll keep with it, and you know, maybe next week or something I'll have something more to say about Moon Knight. But do like the cover. This is awesome cover. All right. Next up, we've got Miles Morales Spider-Man number 30. This is the 1 in 10. I got a pretty decent deal on this guy. It was actually on the shelf when I brought it up. The LCS guy was like, "Oh, this is the 1 in 10," and I said, "Hey, just give me a fair price." And so he did. Paid less than ratio for it, and not much more than cover. And I got a bag and a board. Did not read it yet, so I might just try to get a reader copy instead of cracking the 1 in 10. But we'll see. But it's got a new character design, so this is one of those spec books of the week because he's got a new costume. I don't know how long this costume is gonna last. I don't know if I like that windbreaker look, right? I like a more aerodynamic, but it's a cool cover, and you know, I think colors aren't bad on it. So we'll see. Let me know what you think about the costume. I don't know if it'll stick, but maybe on those cooler fall days you can get away with that. All right. Next up, we've got Thor number 17. You've got Freya. You've got Thor's sister. Why is her name escaping me right now? Angela is in here. She's a big player now, apparently, in this book. This was the end of one storyline, and we're leading into another storyline. Hammer here, Mjolnir. He's missing. We find out at the end of the issue. Sorry, spoiler, guys. So that's where the next arc is going. But there's like a lot of family strife in here. There's a lot of setup in here, I think, for where this book is going to be going in the future. So that's why this book is worth picking up. More than just Mjolnir disappearing, is to see this new structure of Asgardians, especially the royal family. Odin, Thor, Freya, and Angela, and seeing where this book goes from there. So Donny Cates writes it. Pretty good book. I recommend it. I've loved it. Sometimes I've liked it even more than Venom, when he had his Venom run. All right, last but not least, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 74, 875 in the Legacy. This has been a Nick Spencer book for the first 74 issues. On issue 75, we'll have a new writer and new creative team. This is a Patrick Gleason cover. Some happiness in here. And you know what? I actually dig the conclusion of the Kindred saga. So for every bad thing I've had to say, and it's not going to change all the things I said in the past, I think the ending, the conclusion, actually worked. Okay? So if there's anything, if you've stuck with this book for most of the run, just go ahead and pick up this issue. It'll fill you in on some things. I don't think you'll need to read like the last 10 copies to actually understand what's happening. But the conclusion was satisfying, all right? So I stuck with it for 74 issues, plus, the giant size issues, and they had like all the other tie-in issues. So it was probably close to 100 issues that I stuck with this series and this version of Spider-Man. And at the end, I can say I didn't absolutely hate it. Could have saved myself a little time, maybe a little money, but I'm happy with the conclusion. And I have to thank Nick Spencer for doing that, giving us at least a solid finish to this run. All right, solid if not spectacular. I wouldn't go as far as amazing though. So, good book. It carries a $10 price tag, so if you can get it at a discount rate, go ahead. It seems to be a book that people are actually purchasing, so you may not be able to get it at a discount rate. I have a pull subscription, so I get 20% off on that. But comic fans, those were my books for the week. That was my new comic book day haul and review. Don't forget, if you like this content, subscribe, hit that notification bell, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and comment down below. Even share this with your friends. And if you didn't like the content, throw me a thumbs down. I don't care. Do it. I'll do it for the tube. Yeah. All right. So do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna get ready for next week's books. Peace.